Hello and thanks for viewing my second video on Azure OSDCloud. This video is going to focus on a WinPE deployment using Azure OSDCloud. This WinPE is created using OSDCloud, but you can use any WinPE that has PowerShell and PowerShell commandlets installed. I'll demo this using an MDT boot image after this WinPE demonstration. To start off with Azure OSDCloud, hopefully you've completed your setup and you've got a WIM in your Azure storage. And from PowerShell, you can simply type in the following command: invoke expression, invoke REST method, and then the URL that you will use is az.osdcloud.com. You can also abbreviate this as IRM for invoke REST method and IEX for invoke expression. And what it's going to do first, it's going to make sure that you have all the requirements that you need for OSDCloud. It's going to enable PowerShell gallery support, and it's going to update the OSD module as well as several Azure modules that are needed to connect. The versions listed in here are the versions that are in PowerShell Gallery, the latest versions. So if you already have these modules in your WinPE, they will be validated against PowerShell Gallery and updated as needed. Not all of these modules are used, but they're added for future use. The next function that's going to run is connect AZ OSDCloud. This function is built in from functions.osdcloud, which were loaded early on in this WinPE. And you can see I'm prompted to enter an authentication code at this URL. And this is what we need to do in WinPE, because WinPE doesn't support native authentication for Azure, so we have to use what is called device authentication. And if I go to this URL and type in this code, I will be presented with an account to authenticate into Azure. And for this one, I'm going to use my global admin account. And it's going to confirm, it's going to ask me if I want to sign in to Azure PowerShell using this account. I'll click on continue, and I can close this window when complete. And if I wait just a second or two, I should see the process continue in WinPE. Now the next part of the connect AZ OSDCloud function is to check to see if there are multiple subscriptions for this account, and there are. And I'll then be prompted to select which subscription for Azure I'll use. For me, I'm going to select option 1 and press enter. And I can see I've successfully authenticated to Azure. Now what's happening at this point is it's going to display several global variables. And these are related to my authentication. So I can use these in other functions or other PowerShell commands. And they're just listed here for reference. These may disappear from visibility by default, but they are created. And finally, it's going to execute a function called start AZ OSDCloud. And this is what actually starts the image process. It will look in Azure for storage accounts that are related to OSDCloud. And then it will look in every storage account for containers and find any images that are contained in these containers. And as you can see, it's found 9 WIM files. It's listed out the storage accounts in the second column. I do see there is one for Azure OSDCloud 5, which was created and uploaded in my last video. If I scroll to the right, I'll be able to see the blob, which is the file name itself, and the location and the resource group name. For this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and select the Azure OSDCloud 5 storage account and then the image I uploaded, which is Windows 11 Enterprise 64. And so I need to select option 7. And once I do that, OSDCloud will continue. It will prompt me to partition my disk. And once that's done, it will download the image from Azure Storage and apply it to my OS disk. This process shouldn't take very long. I've successfully downloaded from Azure in less than a minute. And I'll leave this continuing in the background. And I want to start another demonstration using another WinPE. This WinPE is created using MDT. This is not an OSDCloud boot image. It is a native WinPE boot image from MDT with PowerShell added. In this boot image, I'm just going to exit command prompt. Exit to command prompt. I'm going to make the fonts a little larger for visibility. And from this command prompt, I'll type in this command. Now, because I'm in a command prompt, I have added PowerShell to the command from the last one I had run in my other WinPE. And I'm just going to execute that. And we can see in the short period of time, I'm at 70% download of the WIM from Azure Storage in the background. And I'll let that keep running. I can see in my MDT boot image, it's downloaded curl, it's installing OSD PowerShell module, which didn't exist in this boot image, and now it's downloading my Azure modules. In the background, WinPE, which is my OSDCloud boot image, I can see it successfully downloaded the blob, my WIM file blob, from Azure Storage, and it's now in the process of expanding it. So in my MDT boot image, I'm going to be prompted to connect to Azure. I'm going to make the font just a little bit larger so we can see this. And it has given me a code to enter on the Microsoft website, which I will enter. And for this deployment, I'm not going to select my global admin account. I'm going to sign in as my tech. My tech does not have the same privileges as my global admin account. And so on this particular deployment, I'm going to expect to see different sign-in and different storage accounts. And I could see this particular one only had 2 different storage accounts visible, and it's only able to see 6 different images. So it is possible for me to restrict the deployment using Azure privileges. I can see that my OSDCloud boot image is complete. Let me go ahead and scroll back up so we can see the difference with the scan of the Windows images. We could see that my tech only had privileges to 2 storage accounts, while my first sign-in had privileges to 4. and that explains the difference. This is a good way to separate your image builders and granting them visibility to see all the images, and then your deployment text would see a small subset. For this secondary deployment, I'm going to go ahead and install Server 2022, and I select image 5. At the end of the OSDCloud process in WinPE, it will exit. It will not reboot automatically, and we can see this deployment in WinPE completed in 3 minutes and 42 seconds, which is rather impressive. If this were a physical session, physical device, then I would need to download drivers and install the drivers, so there would be additional time. But to be able to deploy an image in WinPE to a VM in under 4 minutes, phenomenal. I can go ahead and restart this computer in order to have it finish Windows setup and boot into out-of-box experience. I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration of Azure OSDCloud and continue to look for future videos on this topic. Thank you.